We work with a wide variety of clients from all around the world. This can be Canada, United States, Australia, Holland, UK, Sweden, Mexico, Malaysia. We've seen people from all across the world, and frankly, it does not surprise me where people are coming from these days. Now, one of the biggest questions that we get is where and how do I get taxed? How do I pull out money here in Serbia? And today we're going to talk about all those topics. And this is going to be just general advice. Most of this is, when it comes to you personally, is going to be specific on many aspects as to, do you own a company? Do you pull a pension? Are you operating a business here in Serbia? What kind of income do you have? If you're a U.S. Citizen, where you're taxed as a U.S. citizen no matter where you go, some ways you can work around that here in Serbia. And so one thing to point out is that this is not tax advice, and if you are looking for tax advice for your personal ways of operating here in Serbia, that is something that is going to have to be done on an interview or a consultation, should I say, and so that we can review your specific needs. Now, why do some people come to Serbia? Well, there's a number of reasons. They are looking for more freedom. They are looking for lower taxes. They are looking for simpler systems here, a lower cost of living, and general ease of life that Serbia provides, as well as the most obvious one is that people from the European Unions or some of these other Western countries are looking for a country that is not EU aligned, where there is a lot more regulations, rules, should I say the least, for that. And one thing I want to note is that Serbia is not a tax loophole. We work with clients to help them reduce their taxes here as much as possible in Serbia, but it only works also when Serbia becomes your actual real home. So if you're looking just to simply set up a business here, hire employees, but live somewhere else, that does not mean that you are going to be taxed here on your personal assets or your personal income here. You would only be taxed on your corporate side for your business. But let's get into this a little bit more. Now, every country has taxes based on residency. And of course, here in Serbia, you become a tax resident once you are here for 183 days or more. That is why when we work with clients who are looking to obtain temporary residency, one of the stipulations to maintain your residency here in Serbia, especially when it's temporary residency, is that you maintain residency and live in the country for 183 days. They want to make sure that you are a tax resident of Serbia and that you're not getting residency and not spending the time here. And of course, the government collecting that tax money, which I know people don't want to pay taxes, but I find for someone like myself who's come from Canada, who paid a lot in corporate taxes and personal taxes, because in Canada and many other countries, the more you make, the higher the tax bracket, the more you pay in income taxes, where Serbia is a lot different from those countries, which makes it an attractive place to come. Now, the taxes don't matter where the taxes is on your personal side. Now, when it comes to personal taxes and you being a resident here in Serbia, it doesn't matter where your money's coming from, so that it could be a company that you own outside of Serbia, where the client is from, and what passport you're holding. So if you are a Serbian tax resident and you're taking on personal income, you are taxed regardless of what those means are. Now, there are a few ways of reducing that. If they are investments, that can be qualified as zero. If it's pension, you can invoke a dual tax treaty. But Serbia is going to be your tax anchor as long as you are living here for more than 183 days a year. But what makes it attractive when it comes to taxes here in Serbia? First off, we have a flat rate tax system, which many people love. I myself, as a Canadian who moved here many years ago, became a tax resident here in Serbia. And so we have no progressive tax brackets. And so what we're talking about is, if you're making $50,000 a year, and I'm using dollars for Canadians here, you are in one tax bracket. If you are above 50 and between 75, you're in another one. So like I was saying, the more you make, the more you're taxed. There is no wealth tax here in Serbia. There is no exit tax here in Serbia. Corporate taxes are taxed at 15%. Now that can be reduced depending on the type of business that you are operating here in Serbia. Your dividend tax is at 15%, but that can also be different because if you are pulling out a bonus on your corporation, like twice a year, typically what they're looking at, then it's taxed at 10%. And your salary tax here is 10% also at a flat rate, plus your contributions, of course. Now, clearly, this is not tax advice for you specifically. Like I said, this needs to be looked at with a case-by-case basis. But when you compare this to Canada, the UK, Australia, these are very favorable numbers. And so, in Canada, when I owned my own corporation there, corporate tax, they say, is 15%. But of course, for those Canadians that are living there, that is not the real number. Your income tax is progressive based on the tax market, or tax bracket, should I say. The UK, I do not need to speak to my UK clients, which we've had a number of them come here. You guys are getting taxed out the yin yang when it comes to all aspects of life there. Australia, same thing. We're seeing that a lot of clients are coming here from Australia, not just single individuals or couples, but we're seeing whole entire families of 5 and 6 moving here and establishing life here. And of course, majority of Western Europe, these higher taxes apply to, which many people are looking to escape. And so with that, Serbia is much simpler, cheaper, and more predictable when it comes to what you're going to be paying taxes as a tax resident here. Now, what kind of incomes are we usually seeing from our clients? Well, this is typically pension income, passive income through dividends or interest, business income. They have a foreign business and they're collecting money that way, and a little bit of mix of all of these combined, depending on the age and what their past life or current life holds when it comes to income. And so in order to cleanly look at your specific tax bracket here in Serbia, we need to look at your income streams and to lower the effective rates efficiently and make sure that you're still in compliance here in Serbia. Now, when it comes to a company here in Serbia, a DOO, it's super simple. It is 15% corporate tax on your net profits. One thing you have to make sure that when you're opening up a corporation here in Serbia, we call it a DOO here, is that you do not make more than a certain amount of money in that corporation before you go into the PDV, which is an additional 20% tax that you have to add on that. But there's many ways that you can get away from that, which is something that we help all our clients with. It's how many owners and directors are in that company. Do you open up another company? Do you have a foreign company where you're only using the Serbian company to employ employees out of? where you're paying your overhead on your business and then you're actually invoicing from another foreign company. And that way you're reducing the actual taxes that you're paying here on your own corporation. Now, how are some people pulling out money here out of a Serbian company? Well, of course, the first one is a salary. So this is good for baseline income, proof of substance if you're looking to get loans, immigration, and banking. So it's not ideal for large withdrawals, which if you're an employee, you're going to know what your fixed income is. One thing that you have to take note is that if you are an employee or have employees, your social contributions add up to about 46% on top of what you're paying your employees. So that may sound like a large number, but when you look at what the actual fees are, it's a lot lower than many of the Western countries and many of our clients that we work with. So the 46% may sound like a large number, but in reality, it's not that bad. I pay my employees that. There's no issues with that. I'm happy to employ people here in Serbia, give them a good rate, good pay, and make sure that their social contributions are covered, because the social contributions are going to be covering their pensions, it's going to cover their healthcare services, so on and so forth. So that's one thing that many employers here that are Serbian natives here, they look to get away from, and there's various ways that they do that here, which I don't find acceptable, and then they wonder why they can't hold on to employees. So that's something to keep in mind. The next one is dividend income. This is usually done for high earners, and this is paid from the profits and taxed at 15%, and there are no social contributions when it's a dividend income. So that's one of the beautiful things that you have to look at as well. And we also have some clients that do a little bit of mix of a small salary plus a dividend income as well. Option 3 is that you get paid through expenses, so legitimate business expenses, reduce profits, and and of course this needs proper documentation. So for instance, let me explain this. So majority of my day is spent in the office here with my employees who have already gone home for the day, and this allows me to record these videos here for you guys. But I drink coffee here. We have water here. I have internet, and so on and so forth. So a lot of that gets reduced. I do not have to actually go out and buy coffee and take it out of my own pocket, so on and so forth. And I'm not talking about these small expenditures either. The laptop that I use, this camera that I use it for business use majority of the time, but of course I'm going to use it also for personal use as well. And so that's one of the beautiful things you get when having a business. And the other one that I touched on is bonuses. So you are entitled to get bonuses paid out to you here in Serbia up to twice a year. You can take a lump sum payment, and that is taxed at 10%. And if you know what your living expenses is going to be for the next 6 months, you pay yourself a bonus, you live off that. After 6 months, you hit up another bonus, and that'll last you for your personal expenses for the next 6 months. And you do that over and over again, as long as it's structured within the corporate tax year. So that's something else to be on the lookout for, and that is something your bookkeeper and accountant, which typically we provide here. We have everything in-house, and we take care of that to make sure that you're in compliance. Now, when it comes to a lot of our high income clients, so we're talking, 150K and above, up to 500K, most of our clients are, and we even got people that are well into the 7 figures. The way that one works is that structure matters. So a lot of Our clients have corporate structures in place, so they have foreign holding companies, which offers a better dividend planning and long-term expansion structures. And so we have some clients that have a corporation here in Serbia. They have another corporation in the United States, especially if they're a non-tax resident and not doing business within the United States and not employing employees in the United States. They can open up a corporation in the United States and essentially pay zero taxes that way and send a lot of their invoices from the US and then pull it out on their own as a non-US tax resident. This is something that has to be structured correctly. We do help our clients in this regard as well, but we typically focus on structures here within Serbia. But with our high income income earners, they know the corporate game, and we work with them to set the best tax structure up for them. So our philosophy here in Serbia is that we do not sell a zero tax plan. We design something that helps with your residency structure here. Treaty aware when it comes up to setups, especially if you are if there are tax treaties amongst countries, and Serbia has a lot of tax treaties. One thing that our US clients are concerned about is that they're taxed as US clients on their worldwide income. There are ways that you can earn up to 135,000 US dollars. I believe that's the correct number, but it might have changed this year in 2026, that they can file taxes here in Serbia and not pay them into the United States. 135,000 US dollars does very well here in Serbia, and you can live a quite comfortable life. And so every case is different. Passports does not equal tax obligations here. Income type does matter to keep things kosher here, and residency matters most. If you're looking for tax advice when it comes to your own personal plan with moving to Serbia, feel free to reach out to us on a consultation or come and meet us in person.